welcome to another video. Now you're probably thinking, oh, it's really late at night and she's got a really bad headache. No, it's really early in the morning. I woke up really early today because, very weirdly, I felt hungry. I'm really not used to feeling like that, and it took me a minute to actually recognise that that was what I was feeling. I thought, oh, well, I can't be that hungry because I had dinner last night, and I'm not usually waking up at this time feeling hungry, so I just sort of rolled over and tried to go back to sleep, but I couldn't. And then I figured, oh, I probably have low blood sugar because, well, I don't know why I would have that, but certainly that's what it feels like. But I didn't have any food in my room, and I didn't have the energy to go downstairs and get any food because it's down 2 flights of stairs, and then I'd have to climb 2 flights up. And that would certainly alert my parents that something was wrong, and then they would get up and it would be a whole palaver, and it wouldn't be worth it. So I was like lying in bed trying to think if there was anything that I could eat in my room. And then I remembered the first medication I take in the morning is something called ribose, which is like a sugar. So I thought, oh, I'll just take that now. So I had a kind of slightly bigger dose than I would usually have. And it has helped because I no longer feel hungry. Unfortunately, I woke up really early and I didn't figure that out until about 7:45. So, yeah, it's too late to really go back to sleep because generally at about 8, 8:30, the house starts moving, people start getting up. So, there's no point in going back to sleep now. But it's really weird that I had low blood sugar. I'm really not used to that. I do have low blood sugar if I don't eat regularly. But usually I eat like clockwork. Even if I'm not hungry, I still force myself to put something in my stomach. So I don't have low blood sugar. So it's very weird that I got it this morning. I'm going to lie back down, wait for my parents to get up, bring me breakfast. It's funny, when I say that, I sound like such a lady of leisure, Oh, I just wait and my parents bring me tea and breakfast in bed. Obviously, it's not like that. Obviously, I wish I could go and get breakfast myself. Hey, I wish I could have gone and got a snack at 6:30 this morning. Would have meant that I could have gone back to sleep. But hey, not to be. I've actually just started a Herculean task. I've started writing up my medical history. And there's a reason for me doing this. It's not just because I fancy it. Next Wednesday, actually, I have a very important hospital appointment. I'm finally seeing an endocrinologist. I've been waiting like 4 or 5 months for this appointment, so it's a big one. And I'm really, really nervous because the last time I saw an NHS specialist, it was that fabled infectious diseases appointment where, it was the most brutal thing I've ever gone through. And I came out crying. Anyway, let's not relive that. So that is why I'm feeling so nervous. And one of the things that is so exhausting for me in those sorts of appointments is having to go over my entire medical history again and again and again. And obviously I make notes for each appointment to bring in with me. But then my mum had the really bright idea, well, why don't you just make a Word document and you can just add to it as things happen, You don't have to then write it out over and over again for each appointment. And I was like, that is an amazing idea. It's hard to find the time and the energy to do something like that because there's quite a lot to write. But I really do want to try and get it done before this appointment because I think it'll be really useful. So far, I've got up until I was about 16 because up until then, it was quite uneventful. And I'm about to start the summer of 2009 when I got my tick bite. Ah, those days. So it's quite daunting to have to write out all this stuff. I'm sure there's going to be bits I forget and names of medication I forget, but I'm really going to try my best because I want it to be as detailed as possible because I want to be able to answer any question this specialist might throw at me like that, So here we go. I've spent the majority of the day trying to finish writing up my medical history. I've just got to when I went to Breakspear, which was April 2016. I tell you something, thank God I kept a blog because I would not be able to remember half the stuff I had done, half the medications I tried, half the appointments I had if I hadn't written it down. And now I've got to the stage where I'm actually having to watch my first videos to remind me what tests I had done the first time I went to Breakspear. So hopefully I'll be able to finish that today because I think that when I do, I'll feel much better. Quite good timing actually, because I ordered myself some DVDs a few days ago because I was feeling so down, and they arrived this afternoon, which means I get to start watching them now I've finished writing up my medical history, so it's perfect. Okay, so I went a little Marvel mad. I got Age of Ultron, Thor the Dark World. I already have the first Avengers and the first Thor film. And then I bought the Captain America trilogy and the Iron Man trilogy. I don't really like the Captain America trilogy that much, but I really like Civil War, and I thought, well, you know, why not? And I really like the first Iron Man, and the other two are sort of alright, so I thought, why not again? These are my little treats to cheer myself up after a bit of a rubbish week and a half, really. I don't actually tend to treat myself to things that often anymore, because obviously I'm paying for my Lyme treatment and that's kind of expensive. But every so often you do really need to treat yourself. So I'm gonna relax now and watch the first Iron Man film, I think. I've basically spent the whole day making notes on my computer for my appointment on Wednesday. I know I showed you that I finished my medical history, but I also wanted to make notes surrounding the symptoms I'm experiencing, which is obviously super difficult because basically everything is going wrong. But obviously I prioritise the main ones. And then I wanted to write a bit about how I got diagnosed with diabetes, because I don't know if I've said this, the reason I'm going to the endocrinologist is because I have type 2 diabetes. I'm really young to get type 2 diabetes, and there is no history of diabetes in my family, so for me to be diagnosed with that at this age is very, very unusual. So I'm going to the endocrinologist to see if they can find any underlying cause for it. I mean, the underlying cause is probably Lyme disease, let's be honest. But obviously they're not going to say it like that because this is an NHS doctor and they don't really think Lyme disease is a problem. And I finished, which is great, but my God, did I overdo it? I finished at about 3 o'clock and it's now 5. I've just been lying in bed with my face on a hot water bowl because I've got the worst headache. I don't think people assume that I have neurological Lyme disease because I don't often talk about the symptoms I experience in terms of brain fog, but I honestly do get them. You know, you see the edited versions of these videos, you don't see all the ums and the pauses and again, you see now I'm searching for words. You don't see the long stretches of time where I'm searching for a word and I can't find it, the times where I flub my words and it doesn't make any sense. I cut all that out, obviously, because otherwise it would be really weird if I didn't. Anyway, going off topic. See what I mean? I can't talk. Going off topic a bit there. I'm going to take it really easy for the rest of the day. I find it really hard just to lie in bed and do nothing. I think it's because I need something to take my mind off the pain. I'm always listening to a podcast or listening to an audiobook or reading something on my Kindle or watching something. So I'm going to have to try and find something to distract me, but at the same time, not making myself worse. It's a very fine line to walk. So, today's the day. Really dreading this, I'm not going to lie. I always feel really strange, like before big hospital appointments. I feel like I just kind of retreat into myself, probably as a, protective method. My appointment is not until 4:15, which is great because that's a good time for me. My pain is bad today, but that's okay because I slept well, so that should mean that energy-wise I should be okay today. I'm just about to leave. Not feeling too anxious. I'm more just kind of filled with dread. My inner monologue is, why am I doing this? Why am I doing this? Why am I putting myself through this? Because I'm just going to sit in front of a doctor who really doesn't believe I'm that ill and have them, disbelieve me. Really doesn't make you feel good. But hey, it's got to be done. I'm back. I didn't have to wait very long, which was good. The appointment wasn't as bad as I was expecting, which was great. I'm going to have to talk about it tomorrow because I'm so tired now and I have a really bad headache and jaw ache in particular, hence the hot water bottle behind my head. So I'll talk to you about it more tomorrow. So it's the next day now, actually pretty late in the day. The main thing that I'm going to take away from yesterday was that it was not as bad as I was expecting, which is a big plus because I went in with I was going to say no expectations, but that's not true. I went in with extremely negative expectations, and it just so happened that it wasn't that bad, which was really, really good. And I think it kind of restored my faith a little bit in people. He was nice. He took me seriously, and he didn't write me off just because I'd seen a private doctor or because I'd had private tests done and treatment. I didn't go into any detail about the treatment I'd been having for Lyme disease. I just sort of brushed past it. He wasn't rude, and that was just really nice. Originally I was referred there because they thought I might have Cushing's syndrome. I never really thought I had Cushing's syndrome because although I do have some of the symptoms, a lot of the symptoms I don't have. And he basically agreed with me. In my notes, I'd written about the possibility of something called LADA, which is basically when you get type 1 diabetes, but as an adult as opposed to as a child. It's very, very rare, and it's very slow moving, so often gets misdiagnosed as type 2. And he thought that that might be a possibility, but the only way really to know is just to wait and see how I progress and then go from there. He is pretty sure that I do have PCOS though, which is polycystic ovary syndrome, which I'm still not sure about, I'm going to be honest. But I'll just have to wait for my gynecology appointment on the 25th of August. So all in all, it was a good appointment because it wasn't as bad as I was expecting. I didn't really get any firm answers, which is always the way with any appointment I have. It's always like, well, we'll just have to try this and see how it goes, or you could try this, or you could try that, it's up to you. And I'm like, you are the expert, I need you to decide for me. I had some blood taken before I left just to check my general blood counts and check my thyroid again, because my thyroid is just so up and down. Sometimes it's high, sometimes it's low. It really can't make up its mind. A kind of funny story actually. I was wheeled into the phlebotomy clinic, which is one of my favourite words ever, phlebotomy. Love it. I had real trouble finding a vein, which is usual with me. They had to switch to a smaller needle because my veins just weren't playing ball. And the nurse who was taking the blood said, "Oh, do you get your blood taken a lot?" And I said, "Oh yeah, all the time. I'm like a pro." And she was like, "Okay." I was like, hee hee. It was funny. All in all, today has been alright, I guess. I haven't been in a huge amount of pain. I've just been so tired. My headache has been a bit dodgy. Keeps sort of thinking about coming back into the party. I've just been lying in bed, watching YouTube videos, and now I'm going to go back to doing just that, I think. Today marks the end of another 2 weeks, the end of another video. I think overall it's been kind of bad because the fact that I had the endocrinology appointment this week really got me down last week. I was just feeling so depressed about it. So it's not been great, but at least the endocrinology appointment is over now. I don't have to worry about it again, so that's really good. I hope you've enjoyed the video and I'll see you again very soon. Bye!